Hi, my name's Kevin Martin, coming to you from the Lake Erie Regional Grape Program for our weekly podcast update. A couple weeks ago, we got pricing information from the cash market as required by New York State Ag and Markets. So that pricing does only pertain to New York State, but basically affects our Pennsylvania growers as well. Mostly good news on the pricing front from both the cooperatives that don't necessarily comply with the price announcements, but they've been having some good luck with pricing, and that's been announced throughout the course of the summer. And also this price announcement for the cash market seems to be mostly good news. It does seem like the bulk juice market is picking up a little bit, and we have taken care of most, if not all, of the surplus of Concord on the market. A lot of grape acreage has come out. We've seen sort of lower overall nationwide production, and we've also seen the product used in more ways, helping us work through this surplus. So what that translates to for growers, at least in terms of what's announced, is higher average announced prices. They're up about $20 per processor this year, and there is a little bit of a holding pattern with the Constellation sales, so they'll be exercising business as usual, and I think they had an understanding that the Concord pricing was changing, but they were not in a position to change their price from last year because they do have that pending sale to Gallo Winery. In terms of other markets, their cash prices have been adjusted, and it is mostly good news. We're looking at $240 to $255 per ton for basically the entirety of the cash market, other than Constellation. So where there is a payment for higher Brix, that's where it gets a little bit situational. We see a range of $225 to $290 per ton based on sort of theoretical Brix. I would expect us to drift towards the lower end. We're seeing a lot of big crops. It looks like things should be a little stressed out. Veraison was called yesterday here at Claro, Monday the 26th, so we did pick up actually 3 days since bloom. So that's about as good as we could hope for. So hopefully we'll have slightly higher Brix than we were guessing 2 months ago. So what that means is with these announced prices in that 240 to 260 range, there will be growers that are closer to $230 to $235 a ton, which is basically the same as last year, but they'll probably be doing it with a large crop. For other growers not paid based on Brix, or for growers who do have Brix that reach 16, we will see higher prices this year. Niagras have been restored to at least parity in all markets, in all cash markets, so you'll be receiving as much for Niagras as you are for Concords. And the Brix standards, as you guys know, are obviously different, so there's not as much of a pressure to get high Brix Niagara to receive those higher prices. So we would expect that normally to be in the range of $250 a ton, plus or minus $10, depending on what you've got and where you're going. $290 per ton is the highest price I've seen for Niagras, so there is a bit of a shortage for Niagras and whites, inexpensive whites for wine. So there is a processor that did hit $290 a ton. And again, all this is good news for cooperatives as well. We won't know for sure, obviously, until we see how these higher bulk prices translate to higher retail prices, and then translate to these cooperatives working through the investments that they've put off and want to invest in the cooperative itself, and then the proceeds they want to pass on down to the growers. And in the next 12 to 18 months, we'll obviously know more. But we expect it's mostly good news, and their prices will be higher as well. So for the most part, good news. The one thing we are concerned about is crop size. It does look like there are definitely going to be at least some blocks that struggle with ripeness. Hopefully it's not most blocks. That will be basically the strategic risk that is left up to the weather as we go through the next 6 weeks. But for the most part, as long as those things work out well, gross payments will be larger this year than they were last year, which is overall good news. If you have any questions, please let us know. Contact us, comment down below. Be happy to hear from you. Thanks for joining us.